week again in this session right here. So today we're doing mindfulness for sleep. I want to ask a little bit about the last week's session at the beginning. As you know, my name is Hayat, and I'm a veteran of the US military, and now I am a 500 RYT yoga teacher, massage therapist in training, and nutritionalist. So did anybody try the immunity juice the recipe that we went over last time, or implemented any of the things that we talked about? Any of you lovely ladies?
I just got the recipe today, but I'm looking forward to trying it tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Good. Yes. Very good.
Yeah, I tried the what you said about the hot lemon water with ginger.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good.
How's your belly? Does it feel good in the morning?
Yeah, a lot better. And I made a detox drink too with a lot of different stuff. So been trying that out.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else maybe hit on the meditation a little bit, or some other tools? Dry brushing, anyone?
Mm.
No. Okay.
I did see the sesame oil. I did see some of that in the store.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so curiosity, good. All right, Debbie, did you implement anything that we talked about last week, or?
I tried the cold shower for like 10 seconds. That was horrible.
Okay.
but I tried it. I tried it.
Okay.
That was horrible. And it was just, I couldn't even get it like all the way cold. It was just kind of like Luke cold, and it was still horrible. But I'll try that again, keeping an open mind. And I tried the natural deodorant, switching from my Lady's Secrets. I was thinking of the 80s commercials, secrets for her, not for him, but yeah. And I haven't really noticed any difference, except it's like stickier.
Yeah,
I haven't noticed any difference with
stickier, and it will take some time. Yeah.
Okay, but I haven't noticed any soreness or anything like that. But.
Okay. So that's good. That's good. We're not shooting for having to feel any soreness or anything happening.
Okay, good. Okay.
So we're doing good. You're doing nothing wrong. Okay, good. So today we will be talking about mindfulness and sleep. Okay. So I want to start the session off today just like we did last time. And I would like for us to have a little bit of an intention. And I love these intention cards. So let's see what intention we are setting for today's session. And then we will go over some focusing and bringing our focus in, and a little bit of a breathing technique, okay? Oh, okay. So today, surrender procrastination. Now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking actions will attract success. All right, so if you are like me, I'm a big procrastinator. I think that's my creative mind as well. So if you wanted to start something, get it going, okay? So we're gonna start off today. I want you to find a nice, comfortable seat. You can absolutely stay in your chair. If you have your screen off and you wanna lay down, that's fine as well. But let's just roll our shoulders to our ears. Take a nice inhale. And then exhale, and as you exhale, you let those shoulders roll back and down. For today, I would like for you to take your right hand, sit it on your belly, and the left hand on your heart. And we'll be doing diaphragmatic breathing. So all it is really inhaling, expanding the belly, but feeling that breath moving all the way through your diaphragm, okay? So it's very strengthening to your diaphragm. It allows your body to receive more oxygen, and it slows down your breathing cycle, which means you don't use as much energy because your body is already filling up with oxygen, okay? So you can close your eyes or leave them open. I always tell you this. This is your practice. So take a nice deep inhale, feel your belly rise into your hands, and then feel that inhale moving up towards your heart. And as you exhale, move the navel point to the back of the spine and gently release your breath through your nose. Nice inhale, belly rises, filling your belly with air, and moving that oxygen all the way to the heart center. Exhale, release. Inhale right here, and as you inhale, you even feel your abdominal muscle engage, feeling your heart opening up, and that breath moves all the way up through the diaphragm. Exhale, gently release. Nice deep inhale, belly rises, heart opens, diaphragm creating space. Exhale, release. Do this a couple of more times. Inhale, belly rises through the heart. All the way, take a little bit more of a sip right here of air. Exhale, release, surrender. 2 more of those deep inhales. Belly rises. Heart rises. Exhale, release. Last time, deep inhale. Inhaling into that hand. Inhaling into that hand over your heart. Exhale, surrender. Gently release your hands to your knees. And bring in the focus from the 4 corners of the room to your immediate surroundings. And if you want to blink your eyes a couple of times, maybe give it a big smile right here. And just find yourself into this present moment, okay? And if your mind starts wandering during this class, during our discussion, do not worry about it. Just bring it either back to your breath, you know, to my voice, or try to see if you can catch something in what we talk about that really, really, you know, stimulates your curiosity, okay? So sleep, sleep, sleep. Sleep is is almost like the best meditation of life. So I'm moving you a little closer because as last time, I'm gonna share my screen and I prepared a slideshow for everyone. So let's see how we're gonna get there. Here we go. And if you could, once again, just give me a hands up or let me know that you can see everything, because with this screen, I can not see you on the side. Okay. So sleep is the best meditation per Dalai Lama, and everyone hopefully knows who Dalai Lama is, a very wise man that shares all of his wisdom with us. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go a little and talk about sleep. Sometimes when we don't really understand the depth of something that we are trying to create a better rhythm of, it is really hard to follow through and implement the mindfulness that we will be talking about when it comes to sleep. So let's go a little bit over sleep, the sleep cycles, what is suggested by the Department of Sleep Research on how long you should be sleeping, and then how we can implement mindfulness for you to find a better sleeping cycle. So what happens when you sleep? So sleeping is known, and this is without knowing any details, that it is really good for your health. So everyone needs sleep to actually be a functional human being. Sleep is just as important as going outside, you know, receiving your vitamin D from the sun, and food and water. I do believe it is up to the individual, and you will have to start maybe paying attention to it for yourself. How much food, how much water, how much sun, and therefore how much sleep you need to implement in your daily activities. So we spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping, some maybe more and some maybe less. And what happens during your sleeping cycle? Your brain stores information and gets rid of toxic waste. So that is the time when in a average normal human, you are getting the rest for your brain to not have to go 150 miles per hour and get distracted of thinking of all kinds of things. Now you have to think, not only get your brain stimulated through thoughts, it's also all the senses. Sleep is the time where you don't have to, you don't smell, you don't have awareness, your eyesight is not used. You're trying not to listen, you're trying not to touch too many things. So those parts of your system are not getting stimulated, and therefore your brain gets sleep, rest, and it is prepared to receive new information, and maybe kind of like a download on a computer. And then it gets rid of thoughts that's not serving, and also kind of helps cleanse the body and resting. Okay, the nerve cells communicate and reorganize, which supports your healthy brain function. So when there's a brain that does not get rest, can almost not receive new information or retain important old information. So you basically, when you sleep, you're giving that brain time to create the space. And the body repairs its cells, it restores energy, and it releases molecules which balance your hormones and your proteins. So last week in our session, we talked a little bit about the hormones and how they affect your body, and how mindfulness can help the levels of, your stimulating hormones, your just the ones that keep yourself going and motivated. So all over health, your sleep is very important, and without it, your body cannot function properly. As I said, this is just kind of like an overview so you understand your sleep cycles, okay? So there's 4 stages of sleep per the Institute of Sleep, National Sleep Foundation Institute. So the patterns of sleep and the stages are repeated every 90 minutes. So they just changed it for when you had 4 stages of sleep to 3 stages of sleep, and then just see the REM cycle separate. So you have the different stages, and they repeat between those 7 to 9 hour sleep periods. So let's think a little bit of 7 to 9 hours. Sometimes even thinking about getting that much sleep causes a little bit of anxiety. So do not freak out right now if your regular cycle of sleep is just 5 hours, 6 hours, and that works for you. As we have to approach everything that we learn as an individual, like what suits our body, and how much sleep do I need? And you have to think about your environment, the stress that you're going through during the day. You have to see about your age, the job environment that you're in, and how active are you during the day. All these aspects and the outside influences determine on how much sleep you will need at night, okay? So we have the 3 phases of non-rapid eye movement. That's where the NREM comes from, sleep. And then 1 phase of rapid eye movement, the REM phase. Okay, does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. And all of this data has been received from the National Sleep Foundation website. So if you want to look further into sleep, go to that website. So the first and the second stage, here you have the, when you first fall asleep, when you still half awake and you're still aware of what's going on in your surroundings. So you have your eyes maybe twitching just a little bit more, or the light is still, your senses are still receiving the light, the noises. You're aware of your heart rate. Your heart rate still beats in that daytime heart rate. But the eye movement is slowly slowing down. So it is known that this phase lasts about 7 minutes. When you have, do not be hard on yourself. When you have any type of sleeping disorder, this phase might take you longer. And if you had been diagnosed with a sleeping disorder, you might be slightly smiling or laughing internally and say, oh, for me, this phase can take hours, okay? And then the formerly stage 2. So now you're moving into a little bit of a deeper stage of sleep, and it's that transition sleep. So your eye movements stops, your body temperature decreases, your heart rate, your muscles, they relax just a little bit more. So your brain, right before this happens, spikes one more time with activity, and then it slows down from there. So most time is actually spent in phase 2 of your sleep. Okay, so your sleeping cycle is mostly in stage 2. So now you have your stage 3. This is where your deep sleep is created. So your eyes, the movement of your eyes stops. You are moving into a deep sleep where your muscle can finally release. And during this time is where your muscle and the healing of soreness, your body's aching, this is where the body is trying to heal itself, where it gets its rest, where it gets its relaxation. And you have to think of the brain as one huge muscle. So this stage is really important to replenish the energy, to repair cells, tissue, muscle. So if you feel at this time that phase 3 of your stage 3 of your sleep is non-existing, then think about, okay, what does it really do to my body, and how does it influence how my immune system is strong, how my body operates, how my muscle recover from any sports activity, okay? And then you have the rapid eye movement sleep phase. And this is the stage that actually happens about 90 to 3 hours, 1.5 hours to 2 hours after you fall asleep. And it's supposed to last about 1 hour. So that's the time where I said, like, the brain spikes, your eye movement becomes faster. So dreaming often happens during this time. And something really nice to do, a lot of people that are trying to find out more about their sleeping cycles, they have a notebook and a pen sitting next to their bed. And as you wake up and you feel like you had a really long REM cycle and your dreams are very vivid, some people journal those dreams to kind of determine, where's my sleep cycle? How much do I dream? How much is my brain active during those times, okay? Do we have any questions about this? Okay. So how much sleep do you need? And Margot and I were talking a little bit about this before, that there's guidelines, of course, like there's a guidelines with everything of sleep that you need. But I do believe that it all determines and is affected by your surroundings, by the job that you have, by the community that you have built around yourself, by your physical activity, by your age, and how you structure your life as well. So here you see birth to 3 months, 14 to 17 hours. Wouldn't that be beautiful? And then you see as it goes up. So in the range of maturity, from 18 to 64, your adulthood, and then after, you're supposed to receive about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I personally try to stay in that 6 to 7 hour range, and that actually works very well for me. And we will talk about all of this later and ask the question about your individual set. So what happens if you don't get enough sleep? Possible consequences of your sleep deprivation as mood swings, anxiety, depression, your memory, your focus and your concentration, your motor functions, fatigue, your immune system, weight gain. These are all really important things in your life. High blood pressure, the insulin resistance, and chronic diseases, and early mortality. So this was just to bring awareness to everyone on how important your sleep is. So let's move into mindfulness and how we can improve our sleep cycles, our sleep patterns. Does anybody have any questions about sleep so far? Oh, okay. So let's go back to that prior page. Okay, so we started off with the diaphragmatic breathing when we first started this class, okay, this session. So diaphragmatic breathing is basically just the process of getting your breath to engage your abdominal muscle and then bringing it up to your diaphragm, strengthen your diaphragm. And it is recommended that you should practice diaphragmatic breathing when you have a not so well sleep cycle every day. Diaphragmatic breathing can be done in really short cycles. So there should never actually be an excuse. It sounds so harsh for me to say that, but it can be done anywhere. It can be done laying down on your back and really just having those hands placed over your heart and your belly, or even sitting in the chairs if we have just practiced it at the beginning of the class. And just sitting up tall, having those shoulders rolled away from your ears, and filling your entire body with this oxygen. I'm very passionate about breath and how our body functions so much better with this oxygen. And so diaphragmatic breathing is one of the tools that you don't need any outside influences. You don't need any equipment. Your body is already equipped with this little tool that you have to improve your breathing, your sleeping cycle. And this can be practiced each morning, which will help you start your day less stressful, and it would build your resiliency and your response on high stress that might be implemented during that day. So when you go and are more resilient to the stress that you experience during the day, as you're slowing down for your evening rest, you are able to slow down for your evening rest faster than if you are still in this stressful environment and don't have this small tool to be more resilient to the stress that affects you. So for the diaphragmatic breathing, as your practices, do 4 to 5 cycles. That's 4 to 5 cycles of 3 breaths. So 4 to 5 cycles of 3 breaths. This won't even take you about 5 minutes of your day, and it's something nice to implement early in the morning, during lunchtime, maybe as a little picker up, for your rest of the day, and then right before you go to bed. So we want to implement that for our bed routine, and we will talk about our bed routine, going to bed routine in a little bit as well, okay? So your diaphragmatic breathing helps you with decreasing. Okay, so we talked already about decreasing the breathing cycles that you have. So what happens when we move into feeling anxious, or we start feeling a little bit of a panic, or a panic attack coming on, or anxiety attack? Our breath starts moving more rapidly, okay? And when our breath starts moving more rapidly, we are moving into this fright and flight stage, okay? So the nervous system gets activated. So when you have the diaphragmatic breathing and you get your body trained to do so, it helps slowing down this breath cycle, where you even able to influence and be more resilient to those attacks, panic attacks or anxiety attacks that you have. So what I can tell you from my personal experience, especially with when COVID first started, and we were we were told to stay in the house a little bit more. We had to get used to doing more telework. I could feel myself, my breath and my heartbeat speeding up, where I was going so fast during the day in organizing and reorganizing my life, that when I tried to lay down at night, my breathing and my heart were still at the same pace as they were going all day. And it would trigger a little bit of an anxiety function, and with my awareness, with my level of awareness about myself, I could feel that come on. So I would implement that diaphragmatic breathing. First of all, it was very nurturing, with just having my hand on my heart and my chest area. It's a very vulnerable area. And then I used my breath, the deep inhales and the deep exhales, to slow down my energy level, to slow down my heartbeat, my fast heartbeat, and therefore activating that nervous system that gives me the restorativeness, the sleep, the calmness. Okay, so even it is just something simple, it will be very nice to implement that into your sleeping cycle. So if you have a piece of paper and you're taking notes, I would like for you to write sleeping routine, before bedtime routine, whatever floats your breathing into both hands and exhaling at the same rate. So I have that list on the side as we're going through this, okay? Do we have any question about diaphragmatic breathing? This would be a really good time to ask. No, are we all good?
I'm not. This is Judy. I have a quick question. I lost you for a moment when you were explaining about what to write on the side. If you could repeat that, please.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So on your piece of paper, I want you, so we're kind of creating, as we're walking through the information, we're creating a list, maybe a to-do list, like a bad ritual list. So what I would like to write, for you to write, is my bad ritual procedures or my bad sequence, whatever sticks with you and will make you want to do this sequence of sleep, this pre-bed. If you're a football fan, maybe pre-bed gaming, or you know how they do a they meet in the parking lot and do this. I don't know the word for it, but so pre-game, your sleep pre-game, you know, if you want to put that on the side. And then I want you to take a 1 or a dot, whatever works better for you, and put the diaphragmatic breathing on that list. If you've missed the beginning of the class today, it was just having that right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart, and then breathing into your belly. So your belly expands into your hand, and then breathing into the diaphragm. So that diaphragm as a muscle is getting trained, okay? And when it gets trained and you start this, let me tell you, when you train a muscle in your body, it will start creating this, this rhythm, this muscle memory. And you can train your diaphragm to remember that cycle that you create for rest, and therefore easier respond to stress, because you are taking more energy, more oxygen in, and your body creates that cycle, even when you are not doing it purposely. Did that help you?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. So let's move on to the meditation part, yes? Okay, we talked very thoroughly about meditation last time, but I still want to go over it this time. So for the meditation, I'll do meditation in the morning as well as in the evening. Take the stress and the anxiety that sometimes, the expectations that sometimes go with meditation, please take that out of the occasion. So I don't want you to get stressed out thinking about meditation and that meditation should look a certain way. That would defeat the purpose. Meditation can be anywhere, even from you taking that breath to you just finding one moment of stillness and take yourself to one spot in this entire world that brings you peace, and just imagine that picture in your mind, right? So why don't we I give you an example of a guided meditation, and we make it a really small, short one, but just so you know what you could do before bedtime on your own, okay? Are you all up for it? Just a small little one? Okay, so let's just give you an example. So of course, take a nice inhale and sit tall on top of your chair or wherever you are in your room space. And just take that breath, that regular breath. I invite you to close your eyes. If this is really hard for you, find a point in your room that you can focus on, and maybe even just the tip of your nose. Okay, that's absolutely fine. And as you find your comfort zone, either with your eyes closed or looking at the tip of your nose, I want you to take your mind's eye and visualize yourself sitting in a field, a big field of sunflowers. So if you look ahead of you, you see this bright yellow sunflowers. And as the wind is blowing left and right, you see the sunflowers moving and swaying in the wind from left to right. And as you continuously look around to all your sides, you see that you are surrounded by these sunflowers. You hear the birds in the distance. You feel the wind just gently touching over your skin. And when your gaze goes up towards the sky, you see a beautiful blue, baby blue sky. And there's just a couple of clouds floating around in the sky. And a big smile and a big peace falls over your mind, falls over your body. You feel your shoulders relaxing. And you feel gravity gently settling yourself down on your mattress, on your bed. Now you can blink a couple of times. Bring yourself back to this present moment. So this was just a little example of a visualization meditation that you can implement right before sleep. So on this paper that you have sitting next to you, put another dot or a number, and then either put visualizing my favorite place in this world, and then put either it's the ocean, either it's, you know, with the house that you live in, either it's the mountains. So put down a little dot and place that on there, your favorite place in the world, and visualizing yourself there. Okay. And now, do we have any question about meditations? I love meditations, and I sent a meditation, a free meditation out to Rika. So if you want that guided free meditation, she can send you that. It's on YouTube, but I sent the link to Rika. So do we have any questions? Meditation can be really difficult and stressful if you set your expectation to 11 minutes or to, I have to sit here for a long time and my mind has to be absolutely free. So I'm opening this up a little bit for any questions for meditations.
This is Judy again.
Okay.
How long would you start with a guided meditation? I know that there's a whole bunch on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Would you try to find like a 5-minute, 10-minute? I mean, there are much longer ones, but what would be a good starting point?
So to be honest, I think 1 minute is absolutely fine. So and train yourself to make them longer each time. So what I would suggest, if you have never done meditation, to even just spend that 1 minute thinking of your favorite space, right? And then if you need it guided, look for the shortest one that you can find if you really want to hear somebody's voice. 5 minutes seems so small, but for someone that just starts meditation, it is very hard to even start at 5 minutes. So it's idle to see that the difference that is made through meditation is 11 minutes, right?
Okay.
But, don't feel like you are not doing the right thing when your meditation really only lasts a minute. That can be the absolute beginning, okay? And then every day you work yourself up just a little bit more.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, and what I can do, because sometimes it's really hard to find those 1 minutes, right? Visualization. I can create a 1 minute meditation and send it to Rika, and it will really just like we just did, guiding you to your favorite place.
Okay.
That'd be helpful?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will do that. Okay. Anyone else has any questions about meditation? Okay, so benefits of meditation. It de-stresses, it helps your mind being able to de-stress a little bit more. It helps declutter your brain from constant activity, and it helps you rest. So it brings peace and relaxation to your entire mind, physically as well as mentally. All right, so let's move into Yoga Nidra. Has anybody ever heard of Yoga Nidra? No? Okay. So Yoga Nidra, put a little dot on your paper and write Yoga Nidra there. And I want you, between the meditation and the Yoga Nidra, I want you to put an or. So you don't have to do both. Pick one of them and see which one speaks to you more. So Yoga Nidra, I used to offer these practices of Yoga Nidra actually during the midday. The reason I did Yoga Nidra during the midday, it is called our yogic sleep. So Yoga Nidra in the yoga world, 17 minutes or 40 minutes of Yoga Nidra are supposed to be equal to 4 hours of deep sleep. Okay, and this is just a research that was done by yoga teachers and people that have practiced Yoga Nidra, that it will help you relax so deeply within a short time that it will help you pick up that rest and that sleep that you might have not gotten. Okay, so Yoga Nidra, if you feel tired during your day and you had a not so good night of sleep, it is something you can implement during lunchtime. So I used to teach this at lunchtime or pre-bed. It is the yogic sleep that is a guided meditation. It's a powerful technique for controlling your body's relaxation response. So Yoga Nidra can be as restorative as sleep, and it wants you to stay fully conscious. So if you practice Yoga Nidra, you will feel that you are between that stage of sleeping, but awake and fully aware of what's surrounding you, where you are, and you are in that present moment. Okay? And so it's called Yogic Sleep, and it helps you in a paradoxical state of being between sleep and consciousness that is conducive to deep emotional and physical healing. So it's known to rewire your brain, which I'm not a doctor and I want you to be aware of this, but there have been scientific tests that have been done. And one of the research of Yoga Nidra, that was one of the results that was mentioned, okay? And it helps you focus in so that you can be aware of yourself and get to know yourself as well. So basically it helps you build a connection, a deeper connection between your mind and your body. So it's a guided process where the person that conducts the Yoga Nidra for you will systematic move through different body parts and mention different body parts. When I first started practicing Yoga Nidra, it took me a while to get used to the systematic mentioning of my body parts. You know, I was wiggling around a lot, and it was a repeated, like, it points out, look at your right hand. It goes over all the parts of your right hand and just mentions them to you. Then it moves over all the body parts on your left side of your body, so that you systematically experience your entire body, but in your brain, with your mind. So it's mindful recognition, where your body is in space and time. Okay, So some say it's a out-of-body experience, and some say it's very grounding to them. So remember, this is something you have to individual experience and see if it works for you. When you YouTube Yoga Nidra, you will find 17 minutes to 1 hour of Yoga Nidra videos. Start at the smallest video that you can find so you can slowly get used to the effect of Yoga Nidra. And it's kind of similar to when you're driving, you know, a car, and you drive this car without maintaining it, right? So you fuel this car, you take your car to a oil change, you take your car to get fixed and repaired. So Yoga Nidra is kind of that mechanic that helps you get that oil, get that you know, that fix for your body to replenish it with rest. Do we have any questions about Yoga Nidra? Has anybody ever tried Yoga Nidra? Okay, so what I will do for you, I will take the Yoga Nidra and do a small Yoga Nidra session for you as well, and tape that and provide it to Rika as well, okay? If you have any questions afterwards about Yoga Nidra, we can get back to it. I don't want to practice it right now because the relaxation is so in depth that you're probably gonna maybe even fall asleep or kind of like get so relaxed that the focus will not be on this class anymore. So no Yoga Nidra right now, but please consider implementing it into your sleeping cycle. So let's move into progressive muscle relaxation. Has anybody ever heard of progressive muscle relaxation? No? Okay. So basically, it's the process of tightening muscles intentionally in your body, taking that inhale and engaging all your muscle, and then absolutely relax them within just a couple of breaths, okay? So intentionally creating tension in your body, and then through breath, releasing that tension. And it helps your body find relaxation faster when you have this tense body. So we're gonna try this just with our, I will walk you through it real quick, okay? So I want you to sit really tall in your seat. I want you to tighten your toes. I want you to squeeze your calves, squeeze your quads, squeeze your glutes, engage your navel point to the back of the spine, and create fist with your hands. Squeeze those fists really tight, and I want you to frown your entire face. So maybe squeeze your nose, your eyes, so your entire body is engaged. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, release your entire body, absolutely. Okay, that was progressive muscle relaxation. So this was just a small example on it. So move onto your list and put PMR on there, which is the short abbreviation for progressive muscle relaxation. And write on it, engaging my entire body, even frown, like frown your entire face. And then on the exhale, surrender and release the entire tension you have in your body. This can be done anywhere, anytime during the day that you feel some sort of stress coming on, okay? And you can do that from the forehead, the jawline, moving into the abdominal, to the legs, to the toes, to the fists, okay? And then just release right after. Do we have any questions about that? Progressive muscle relaxation. This is something really nice to do as well with your children. If your kids have a hard time sleeping, you can go through this in a playful way, and it would really help them prepare for bedtime as well, okay? Not bedtime, bedtime, okay? All right. So I will get out of this slideshow, and then I want to see your guys' faces actually as we go through the questions. So by taking this mindful attitude, sleep is facilitated by simply being aware of the moment-to-moment experience of relaxing into your bed without judging or being critical of that experience. And then your mind can just slip into deep sleep, okay? So let's get out of this slideshow so I can see all of your beautiful faces again. Okay. And you know, these slideshows will always be available for you, okay? So let's go a little bit about questions. I want you now to move that paper that we just had sitting to the side about creating your own sleeping cycle. And we will go over all this together, and I will add a couple of things, okay? So as you have this list in front of you, try to not eat a heavy meal shortly before bedtime, okay? Nothing caffeine related or really spicy before bedtime. This will be one of the hardest things, and I know this about myself. When we're going into creating this bedtime routine, try to log off the world. So that means social media, news, interacting, discussions or work should not be implemented in that 1 hour window right before you go to bed. I know this is very hard, so maybe choose one each time to kind of let it fall off. So what I actually did, I do not use my alarm clock from my phone anymore. I bought an old school alarm, one of those ones that rings really loudly, because it takes me a couple of times to turn it off. But I do not have my phone close to me. Like I kind of wean off of it the 1 hour before my bedtime. Because what I used to do is wake up and look first thing on my phone and answer a whole bunch of questions for people that were calling me or messaging me. So we want to get rid of social media right before bed. No heavy food right before bed. You want to have your space where you sleep. You do want it to be darker, okay? So if you are used to using a light because that gives you comfort, maybe find a different light bulb. So either finding a light that calms you, maybe having a dimmed light if you do need a light to sleep. But any distractions, any light that you have in your room, try to dim it and try to find a way to sleeping in the dark, okay? So how far are we so far? So no food, right? No spicy food. Trying to avoid your social media right before bed, any news before bed. Create a space where you don't have a lot of lights and stimulation in your bedroom. Your meditation cycle, you list your diaphragmatic breathing, short meditation, either short meditation or yoga nidra, and then your PMR, your progressive muscle relaxation. Okay. So are there any parts or any questions that we have about creating this pre-bed cycle, you know, preparing yourself pre-sleep cycle? So I'm opening the floor kind of up for all of you. Maybe about the meditation, yoga nidra, or just how your body receives sleep. Okay, and remember, you have to individualize those procedures on what works best for you when you go to sleep. So all of this is might not something where there's a, which Margot and I spoke about it before. There's a beautiful courses on finding your own personal cycle when you sleep. So if somebody suggests certain things to do before you sleep, really try to individualize it for yourself, okay? So now that we talked about sleep so much, it seems like everybody is ready to sleep. Okay.
It does.
Yeah. So, you know, when you implement these things, you always have to check, you know, with the breathing, with creating like the muscle in your diaphragm. You always have to check if you are on any, if you are taking any medication for sleep, if you are on anything that your doctor prescribed you for sleep. Please check in with your doctor and, you know, tell him about the things, the mindful things that you want to implement into your sleep cycle. Do not just jump off anything that he might have directed you or subscribed you. But these are all tools to implement, okay? And talking about, oh, this will heal insomnia. If you have insomnia, a lot of military service members do have either temporary or chronic insomnia, which is a sleeping disorder. If once implemented some of these meditations, these mindfulness, they can help you kind of have smaller effects of sleep insomnia, okay? So,
And Hayat, this isn't really a question, but it is just a tool if people want to use it. If you're trying to limit your amount on social media or the internet prior to going to bed, I do know, at least on the iPhone, and I'm sure this is true for the Android models of phones, you can actually power down certain apps on your phone. And that's been extremely helpful to me, just to become aware of how often I was checking something just to be checking it, or what time I had decided in my brain that I was going to check something. And so once it powers down, and you can override it, it always allows you that option to override it. But then I feel kind of guilty if I set it overriding it, you know. So for instance, Instagram, I can get really lost on Instagram. I can get lost on, you know, looking things up, Googling things a lot. And so I decided, okay, beginning at 8:30 at night, as I'm starting to power down to go to bed, no more of that. And in the first couple of days, it was really amazing how many times I just automatically went to it and thought, wow, it wasn't even really a conscious thought until I saw that block there that said, no, you know, you're powered down for the night, unless you want to override it. So that might be helpful if some people are kind of having, I don't know, withdrawal symptoms of getting away from some of those apps that we've become so dependent on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually a screen time. It shows you how much time you spend on your screen and the hours. And for me, it sends me like a little like, okay, we are powering down. You have spent so much time on social media. You have spent so much time on screen. So that is a very amazing tool because it brings awareness to you. So every time you implement any mindfulness into your life, it brings awareness of some of the things you do that might cause you sleep. that might cause you, you know, additional stress, that might cause your immune system not to be functioning as well as it should. Okay. So yes, I believe, I don't know if the last one was recorded. I saw your question, but I know this session is recorded. And then we have those extra meditations available. And Judy, I will do that 1 minute short meditation just so you get used to it. And I'll provide you with Yoga Nidra session as well.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them have been recorded, and we're going to research a way to put those types of resources within the recording so that if you're looking at them, you'll be able to pick them up from there. And then we will also email it out to everyone who attended today.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. Once we figure that out, that will be, then I can implement them right away and you guys can go straight from here to them. Yeah, you like that, Debbie? Good, I love that. Good, yes. So yeah, I know the one meditation is accessible on YouTube just through that link that I sent Rika. So you have that already, if you can send that out with the recipe that we did last time.
Sure.
So this is kind of all I have for the sleep, broken down, you know, why you need sleep, how you implement the mindfulness in your sleep. If I could, I would love, if you want me to look over those lists of sleep and maybe like how you implement your sleeping cycle and what to do pre-sleep, I would love to see your work maybe next time if you want to send it to me and I can help you out create one a little bit more intense. I will open myself up for that. If you want, maybe talk to me and send me.
How do you want them to contact you? I'll put it in the chat and they can pick it up from the chat area.
Yes.
Email?
So what would be awesome, I can actually give you my email because then you can email me and I can look at whatever paper you have and then we can go from there. So my email is Hayat Yoga, YOGA, and then Shala, SHALA, yeah, at gmail.com.